Okay, another little mini project. Some time ago I talked about this motor I purchased off of Amazon, if you remember the bent hoses, how I formed those, all that kind of thing. This is the blower motor or the heater for the car. I'm not going with air conditioning, just going with the blower motor. And it came with 4 ports. You can already see my modification. But what I wanted is to be able to transition from, since I had 4 ports, I knew there was an opportunity to switch between defrost and floor and that kind of thing. So 2 of these I wanted to run the floor, 2 of them to run up to the 2 defroster tubes. And I wanted to be able to allow more flow to the defrosters if I could dedicate them. So the way this operation works is the fan blows across the heater core, and I have, this is the front, and I happen to have, a small amount of distance, about 1/2 of an inch, as this piece goes over the top and screws to there. So 1/2 of an inch is maybe a proud representation of that distance, because you don't want to be scraping across there. So what I did was I formed 2 channels, and those channels are less than 1/2 of an inch. They're like 3/8, or they're 5/16, not even 5/16. And I just formed that over a piece of 14 gauge. Just pressed it over a piece of 14, 2 of them. And then I cut this profile on a piece of 16 gauge. I glued. Actually used Gorilla Glue. This was self-adhesive, but I used Gorilla Glue in there so that I could bisect, so I didn't get air transitioning from one to the other. The channels across here. I'm not looking for a 100% leak-free environment. What I'm looking for is to just redirect as much air as possible. I cut this hole in here. I put a mounting, that hole in that hole, for the top piece to fit in, and then I notched where the screw holes are so it stops right there. It doesn't bang into the side or anything like that. I tack welded the bottom channel on. You can see a little screw going in there, but that little screw is relatively flush with that 5/16 thickness, giving me enough space, about 1/8 of an inch, with a little slop, 1/8 of an inch. And I welded a nut to the inside because I have the space, right, with the foam and the thickness of this channel, pushing the groove out that way, so that I could run a screw in there and cut a slot on the bottom. So now I'll actuate, in this case I'm running full floor defrost. You pick it. You can see the 2 pieces of foam there and there. There is a hint of light, so maybe the start is just a little bit off there. Okay. So now I'm running full defrost. I'm starting to run mix. Now I'm running mix. And now I'm running full floor. That's how this guy will work. Pretty simple. Took a lot of thinking because of the tight space that I'm working within. And yeah, I may have a little air leak right here. But but I'm pretty proud of it. It's going to work just fine. I fit within the confines of this space, and I have myself a blower motor, a cheap, I don't know, like $60 for the heating system, but now I can redirect it. And of course, obviously, I can cable up, I can put a stepper motor on, you know, have 3 positions, or, you know, whatever I want to do. But that's the heater motor. The way this mounts up inside of the car from the prior video, you may remember, this is on the interior side of the car. This is right up against the passenger side kick panel. The passenger side kick panel has an opening out to the ground for drainage, and I run wiring and things of that nature through there. So I will, when this is all said and done, there will be foam in here to the kick panel, which sits about that far away, that will enable mix for outside air to come in. So then we can at least, you know, kind of condition the inside outside air. I could go a step farther and have another one that it blends, but realistically, if I'm mixing outside and inside, I'm controlling my defrost, my window defrost. So that's my current project. All right, now we're doing the string test. Those are lowered. You know, if this is the floor, right now we're on the floor. If it's the defrost, right now we're on the defrost. We begin to move. You can see. Now we're moving all of them. Looks like this is the highest velocity one, but the relative position of the fans. And then as I go all the way over, those stay up and those drop. The infamous spring test. It's a pretty quiet motor too. Maybe we should be looking at it this way. Kind of cool. All right, continuing on with the heater motor. What I did yesterday was I went on line and I ordered, this is a 2-inch throw to open that. And they have a linear actuator, 12-volt linear actuator with a 2-inch throw. So they're cheap. So I ordered one of those, and I intend on mounting that across here. And that way then you can apply 12 volts for a little bit, all the way, you know, and you can infinitely, you know, within the range, position the mix. Why did I do that? I don't know. It was like $17, right? You know, and I'm just plain having fun. And then I took a piece of stainless and I rolled it to a tube, and I'm bending it now, and we'll weld it together. And this is going to be the first duct, because this is the passenger side and this is going on, so this will be the first duct, and I'm just going to loop around. The thing I'm trying to do is control the routing of the ducts as much as possible, and these, you know, shoot, they narrow down to, well, they narrow down to that minor diameter there. And they're certainly not conducive to effective flow. So to quiet things down, those will quiet them down because they create so many eddy currents. But this squirrel cage is just an open box, if you remember from the end. It sucks the air in and it just wildly blows it around. So I'm also going to put some flow direction on the two fans so that it captures the air and blows it. Consumes as much of the air, as close to 100% of the air that's coming in. Why? Because, I don't know, because I'm having fun. So this duct will go on. This is a floor. This will be a defrost. This will be a defrost. This will be the floor for the driver's side. So that'll route over through a duct. These will route up through ducts. And then this one will route straight down, doing a 180-degree turn there. So that's what I'm working on right now, and I intend on kind of wrapping that up. So I'm having fun with it, so we'll just keep on playing. Well, this side went good because it was rolled over and I welded it. I got some dolly work to do, but this side, that went great. Then I had nothing but problems. So I'm done for the night. I mean, I can't do nothing. Okay, and then again, this will go on here. When I get finished, this will taper up to here. I'll probably put one more vein in it. And then this, I'll snip this and roll this up too. Probably wind up taking a chamfer off of this. So it's directed toward, when it sits in the car, it sits like this. So I don't want anybody kicking it or anything, so I'll probably direct it so the air is, well, you can see by the angles, the air is flowing that way. But man, what a nightmare. I am gonna, this is stainless because that's what I had laying around. But I am gonna sand it down and more than likely just paint it black anyway, so. Probably gonna have to be black texture. Oh, for crying in the mud. Anyway, I got a few gaps to fill, and then I'll finish welding it out. But it's coming along. I'm staying with it, though. That's the thing. I'm just gonna stay with it. I'll get her done. Yeah, I just couldn't let it go. But that little piece, it's sticking way out the end. I gotta roll this just a little bit more. You can see it's not quite flush. But I'm going to tack that. That'll extend out beyond the end. And then I'll trim and radius this. Radius that around that corner. So then that'll be, then I'll put my veins in. We'll probably one in the center. I'll work that over at an angle. And then sand her all down. Oh, it's so frustrating. I had to fill all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's just that's a seam, but holes, and then tap around on it. What I'm doing to tap on it is just a piece of 1/2 inch by 1 inch stainless steel. Just stick it in here, keep it flat. I can still get in from the other end too. I'm not bringing that other end, this bottom piece up until I, finish the top, but I'd like to get all this finished out. Top, which is the bottom. This is the show side. Okay. Well, still plugging away at it. Again, I haven't done anything with the low spots up here. But I still have that hole. I plugged these holes. This isn't a hole, that's a low spot. And that's low. And I have a hole here. That's a low spot. So I also welded on the back. Wrapped him around the side. Got a little bit of work to do there, but it's not that critical because, again, I can just take that down. I know it's hard to understand what I'm doing here. So, again, this will set on here. It'll go slightly back because the firewall is right here. Well, it's a little farther back. And then this is going to slope at an angle. I'll put one vein in there, and then I'll close out the back. I'll trim some of this off, and we'll have a duct. So that turns down. That's the whole gist of it. Some of you may be thinking, holy cow, why spend so much time doing a duct? Because I'm learning. That's why. I want to get this mastered. There are some of these runs, like from here to here, just bzzz, here, bzzz. Some of these I struggled with. This is where I struggled. This went bzzz, you know. So I'm learning. I'm learning a whole bunch of things about the TIG welding and getting dialed in. If you stick the tungsten to it more than 3 times, you better just get up and grind it, because you know it's got a big ball on it. Anyway, still having fun. Couldn't stop thinking about it, so I came home over lunch and finished the holes. Got a little work to do there, and started getting this piece on. Got to finish the edge, to put the vein in, and then put the back on. Of course, I don't know what I'm going to do. Tap those out. Still, in my head, it's still bent. Eh? Still just a vent. That's the bottom. How frustrating. It's a vent that's painted. Okay, guys, let's get into the guts of this thing. So right now, I'm on the floor, okay? And when we look in the seating position, if I just sit on the floor, I'm sitting on the floor, see? On the floor. So I'm too low for the window. My eyes are about right here. They need to be about right here. And you can, if you look down, you can kind of see the duct right there. That's was my concern about keeping it close and up and tight, and no hoses dangling around. Runs down, it'll run down the length of that. I'll probably be able to get it up right there. I'm just touching it, you know, a quarter to a half of an inch. That's got one bolt holding it up. That's my cruise control canister. I mean, this is it. This is what I got. Don't have room for a glove box. So I got 2 PVC elbows. That'll get that routed and down for this side. You can see the defroster comes right off of that number 2. And then, if I can make this work. Oh, there's a defroster for the second number 2. He'll snake around, and then this number center number 1 will come out and probably run up above the display and dump over on the right leg side of the right over in this neighborhood. So the actuator will go in behind all this. That should be coming in today, actually, and that'll operate the defrost versus floor versus mix. So that's why I did what I did. In any event, it's certainly not going to be stainless steel. Even if I could take that to a polish, it's going to need to be black along with that ducting. I wonder if I can. It just so happens that when I measured, when I measured the PVC, the tubing 1.25 PVC, this is 1 5/8 OD, as is that. So one of those worked. I just had to shave it to get it closer. So I do have a radius on the outside. These are very tight radiuses on the inside, but I think that's going to work out for me just fine. Now, you can see there's a little wobble there, but I got her. It should be closer here than there. I can form it a little bit, but she blows real good. Blows through. It's blowing up into this area, which is fine. That's fine. I mean, I wish it wasn't, but that shroud will go on here, but there's a notable difference. It's quiet, but of course once I bolt up the bottom, it might put a little twist in there. You know, we'll have to see. But that's significant. I'm sure it's going to be very significant on the. I'm confident it's going to be. But it was maybe an hour. All right, moving right along. We've got a couple things going on here. So now I've got strings on, and we can see that these two strings are down. We did this experiment in another video. We got this guy here, he's blowing, and this guy here, he's blowing on through the ductwork. We also see a difference. I got my little, what do you call that? Linear actuator. And it has limit switches. It's a 2-inch linear actuator. I'm moving 2 inches on the slide that I'd shown you in a prior video. And now we are in the floor mode. Now remember, all this is upside down. This is on the passenger side. And that kind of thing. The fan is running, clearly. And I just took some garage door wire. Where am I at here? Right here. Right here, just wrapped around the charger, and it's plugged into the, just stuck it into the socket of the linear actuator. So what I know is extend is the standard or out of the box polarity, and I happen to know the garage door opener wire. Black is when I wired the red. So right now, if you watch the strings, there we go. So now these are down. There's nothing coming through there. I went all the way, and now I'm in defrost mode. If I want to go halfway in the middle, I activate my actuator, and now they're all down, but they're all blowing. It's not, if I get into the flow, that one's kind of difficult, but they're all standing out. And I can continue to go whatever direction I want. Now I'm back on the floor. I think that's kind of neat. So this actuator is just a positive and a negative. And if you can imagine a dial, you can do it any way you want. But let's just say a dial that's on center, a dial type switch on center, where you have a momentary to the right or a momentary to the left. You could use the left as the floor and the right as the defrost. You're just simply moving it to where you want the air to move. You know, if you want more defrost or more floor, you would just dial it in that way, and you have that range in the middle. And then right next to it, this came with a dial rheostat type, but it wasn't a rheostat. It's actually a circuit board to keep the current down instead of a resistor bank. So it uses a MOSFET and junk that I don't even, I'm only remotely familiar with. But it has an off, and then you rotate it to the right to increase the fan speed or reduce the fan speed. I can obviously get the 1/4 inch posts, all of them, and I can get matching dials and make a bezel for them, and that's what I plan to do. So now I'll have defrost, combination, floor, and variable speed bowler, all in this little box. It was, I don't know, somewhere between 30 and 60 bucks. It was too long ago. I'm pretty happy with it. I just got screws stuck in here now, in here, but I'll have to come in from the back and get the linear actuator mounted. But it just came in the mail today, and I was pretty excited to give it a try. So that's what I did today. This project is a success. All right, just wanted to give a quick close-up of the setup. So you can see down in there, I've got a bolt head, and I got the other one right here through the material, through the gate. I've taken and mounted this linear actuator. I stacked it so that I had enough clearance, and the wires there, but I got one hand. But this was just a wing nut that I ground one side off of so I could get enough of a pivot there. These are locking nuts on the top. Okay, could be a keyway or anything like that person could use, but this is double nutted so that I can adjust the clearance a little bit so that it doesn't drag on the slot. So now when I charge the actuator, sorry about that, it has limit switches, so when it's all the way out it shuts off so you can't burn it up. Oh, there. I'm still connected. My wires aren't getting hot. Okay, that's pretty cool. And then I switch them. Oh. This is so hard to do. One-handed. You get good at it after a while, but and there, I'm holding it on. That is so neat. So that you can't burn the thing out, you can't go or anything like that, and you can put it anywhere in the middle. I just wanted to give you guys a quick close-up. See? That worked pretty good. You can see a little bit through there. I suppose I could move that rubber a little that way, but here's a hint. I can see that I could go that way just a little bit, but I'm not gonna. I mean, we're getting serious overkill here. So it's going good. I do have to put one final, just clean it off, wipe it down with soapy water, clean it off after I assemble it here, and just spritz it so I got a nice look. But pretty happy with it.